trusted news source, ABC6 News at noon.
Right now at noon, we begin with the forecast. Those wind gusts just won't quit out there as we take a live look over Providence with our Skycam. No sunshine today either. Let's get you over to Chelsea with your first forecast. Hi, Chelsea.
Hey, Doreen. Yeah, we've had such gusty winds for the past few days, and we are continuing to see gusty winds out there today. That being said, the wind today is coming in from the southwest. We're about 10 degrees warmer right now with that breeze from the southwest than where we were yesterday at this time. Almost all of us into the 40s, so a nice mild January day. The breeze is making it feel a bit cooler. Those wind gusts are coming in 30 to 35 miles per hour in most locations, a bit higher out towards far eastern Mass where there is a wind advisory in place, and the feel like temperatures come down about 10 degrees from the actual temperatures. That wind advisory until 6 o'clock this evening for eastern Mass, the Cape and the islands, including Block Island. Otherwise, we're looking at a kind of a blend of sun and clouds. At times, we have plenty of clouds. At times, it's getting brighter, and we'll continue to see kind of that mix of sun and clouds for the remainder of the afternoon and into the evening hours. Clouds will start to thicken up overnight. The temperatures stay fairly mild. By 9 o'clock, we're still in the low 40s, but by tomorrow morning, we have snow moving into the area. It's going to create a pretty messy morning commute. I'll have much more in just a few minutes. Doreen?
All right, Chelsea, thank you. And our other top story today, Governor Dan McKee getting ready to announce infrastructure improvements just a few hours from now. The plans promised as part of his State of the State last night. In his speech, McKee reflected on his leadership through the pandemic and the challenges for our healthcare system, schools, and small businesses. He also looked ahead and pointed to these transportation projects coming our way.
We're ready to take these federal funds, plus the funds from the bipartisan infrastructure bill, and put them to work. Tomorrow we'll be announcing over 100 projects valued at $2.1 billion that we're able to speed up because of these federal infrastructure funds. This initiative will create safer roads, bridges, and bike paths, and will put many more tradesmen and women to work.
Now that announcement is set for 2:30 this afternoon. We'll bring you the latest on that on ABC6 News first at 4. Also in his speech, McKee praised Rhode Island Health Director Dr. Nicole Alexander Scott, who announced last week that she's stepping down from the job. McKee said that later this week he'll be announcing a committee of health professionals to lead the search for an interim and permanent director. Alexander Scott will stay on as a consultant for the next 3 months. And before he delivered that address last night, Governor McKee extended the state's vax mask mandate for another month. The governor's executive order requires you to prove vaccination or wear a mask at most indoor venues. Some just simply adopt a mask policy to avoid carding everyone who comes through the door. The governor extended the mandate through Valentine's Day. And when that deadline comes up, he'll have to get General Assembly approval to continue the mandate or declare a new state of emergency for Omicron. Now the latest on the coronavirus. Free masks and tests from the federal government are being made available for Americans as Omicron continues surging in most parts of the country. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
As Omicron continues tearing through the country, the White House taking more steps to fight it, announcing 400 million free N95 masks from the Strategic National Stockpile will be available as early as next week for the American public at community health centers and pharmacies across the country. The Biden administration also launching COVIDtests.gov, where families can order free at-home COVID tests, 4 allowed per household. Millions already doing so, though some living in multifamily homes are facing issues.
It said it had already been ordered for our address. I figure our upstairs neighbor probably ordered it. I didn't know, so I asked my husband. He said, I haven't ordered it.
Meantime, in California, Summer Bio, the state's largest testing site, is fully automated, working around the clock to process up to 120,000 rapid PCR tests a day. The faster turnaround helping keep schools open. Nearly 1 million children tested positive for COVID-19 just last week. That's 4 times the rate at the peak of last winter's surge.
From day one was we really focused on schools to say, if we're going to get America back to normal life, we got to get kids back in school.
On average, about 21,000 virus-positive Americans are being hospitalized daily, that number doubling over the last month. In Oklahoma City, officials say 0 ICU beds are available.
Our emergency departments are overflowing. Our healthcare professionals are exhausted. We have been working nearly nonstop for over 2 years now. Omicron cases are rising faster than previous variants, and we are struggling to keep up.
Some encouraging news. Areas first hit hardest by Omicron seem to be seeing a decline in cases, including here in New York, the 7-day average of new cases dropping 34%. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Healthcare workers face this latest surge and deal with staffing shortages too. A show of support from the community. A simple act of kindness right outside Miriam Hospital this morning. ABC6 News reporter Laura Puglisi was there.
Bundled up in the cold, with signs in hand, community members stood outside of the Miriam Hospital for more than 2 hours on a mission.
That they feel appreciated. That is the #1 goal today.
Mark Lambert is the organizer of the rally. He says he wanted to find a way to show healthcare workers that the community still cares. So he hung up signs and knocked on neighbors' doors, hoping to rally up a group to help show them.
They're exhausted, that they may feel like they're less than appreciated in the community. So this is just an outward way of saying thank you for all that you're doing in your exhaustion.
The group held signs saying thank you and marched around the hospital, encouraging workers heading in or out for the day. Lambert says during the first wave of the virus, rallies like this came in droves. Now hospital workers face another hurdle with worker shortages and the Omicron wave.
There are so fewer workers that are available to come in, and it adds the burden to the folks who are working here.
People like Jenny Mowry. She's in charge of customer services and screening at the hospital. She says these past few months have been some of the most challenging yet. But today is a good day, and it's all thanks to the support of the community.
You know, you come into work every day and you do what you do, and you're faced with challenges, and people are upset, and patients are sick, and staff are tired, and people are burnt out, and then you come out or you get dropped off by the shuttle, and here is the neighborhood saying thank you. It just verifies everything that you're doing and why you're doing it. It's amazing.
In Providence, Laura Puglisi, ABC6 News.
Isn't that nice? Wow. Well, tomorrow, the Attorney General, Peter Nerona, will join the Rhode Island Department of Health for 2 Zoom meetings to hear residents' concerns about the proposed merger of Care New England and Lifespan. The first session is tomorrow from 5 to 7 p.m. We'll put a link to join the Zoom up on our website, abc6.com. Rideau and the AG's office will look to determine whether the proposed merger will have a negative impact on cost and access to patient care. The deadline for its approval is in March. And the race to replace Jim Langevin is underway. The congressman announcing yesterday that this will be his final term in Congress. He was due up for re-election in November. Only a Republican, Bob Lancia, has announced a run for that seat. The state senior representative has occupied a seat in the 2nd Congressional District for nearly 22 years. Langevin was the first quadriplegic elected to Congress. He's recently focused on cybersecurity policy and was part of the push to establish a national cyber director. And legendary Rhode Island hockey coach Bill Belichick is being laid to rest today. Friends and family gathered this morning for a funeral mass at St. James Church in Manville. Belichick died last week at age 92. He was the longtime coach at Mount St. Charles, winning 32 state hockey championships, including 26 in a row. Belichick was inducted into the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame. He was also a veteran of the Korean War and served as a volunteer firefighter in Manville. Well, coming up, new details on the Capitol riot investigation, what the House Select Committee has obtained from people close to former President Trump. Plus, Secretary of State Antony Blinken in the Ukraine today. Details on efforts to avert a Russian invasion there. And later, 2 cell carriers deciding to delay their 5G launch, why airline officials are still concerned. Now to stories making national and international headlines this afternoon. The Congressional Committee probing the January 6th Capitol attack is ramping up its efforts to obtain records from key figures close to former President Trump. Here's ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
An aggressive new push from the House Select Committee investigating the deadly January 6th Capitol attack by a mob of Trump supporters. ABC News has confirmed lawmakers obtained records from a member of the Trump family for the first time, as they seek to understand the role the former president may have played in the riot.
My father has started a movement, and this movement will never ever die.
After issuing subpoenas, the committee received the mobile phone records of the former president's son, Eric, and of Kimberly Guilfoyle, the girlfriend of Donald Trump Jr. The records include dates, times, and duration of calls from their phones, but not the content of calls or text messages.
Let's have trial by combat.
The committee has also subpoenaed Rudy Giuliani and 3 other members of Trump's legal team who spread false claims about voter fraud in the 2020 presidential election. Among them, Sidney Powell, who filed multiple lawsuits alleging election conspiracy theories and encouraged federal and state lawmakers not to certify the results. A lawyer for Powell says she is willing to testify in front of the House investigators, while Giuliani's lawyer indicated he will not cooperate. Committee member and Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff telling MSNBC Giuliani is a key figure in the probe.
There's a lot he could tell our committee, certainly a lot we've uncovered already. But I think he's a pretty central figure in all of this.
Meantime, the Justice Department has released new details about how a newly arrested member of the Oath Keepers allegedly stockpiled 30 days of supplies and weapons as part of a quick reaction force in case members of the militia group needed assistance attacking the Capitol. Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News, Washington.
And Secretary of State Antony Blinken says Russia is planning to increase its military forces on Ukrainian borders. Defense officials in Ukraine say Russian troops near its border now total 127,000, and Russia's military has transferred more missiles to the area. Blinken arrived in Ukraine's capital today to meet with officials. He says he is under orders from President Joe Biden to reaffirm U.S. commitment to the country as a Russian invasion appears more likely. According to Blinken, it could happen very quickly.
We know that there are plans in place to increase that force even more on very short notice, and that gives President Putin the capacity, also on very short notice, to take further aggressive action against Ukraine.
Blinken warned of consequences for Russia if the situation cannot be solved diplomatically. He's scheduled to travel to Berlin to meet with his German counterparts and then to Geneva on Friday, where he will meet with Russia's foreign minister. Still to come, 5G service delayed by 2 major cell phone carriers, why airline executives are still concerned. And looking to spice up your skincare routine, the unlikely company that's launching a new face mask. Now to your consumer news today at noon. Verizon and AT&T have agreed to delay today's rollout of 5G service near some airports after airlines warned of flight cancellations. The companies will temporarily limit the number of towers that carry 5G technology due to concerns that the signals could interfere with critical instruments used by pilots. Some flight disruptions are still expected today, especially among international carriers, as airlines try to navigate new restrictions. Exercise equipment giant Peloton is hiking the price of its flagship bike just 5 months after cutting it to boost sales. Citing rising inflation and supply chain challenges, Peloton will add on a $250 delivery and setup fee for its nearly $1,500 bike. That brings the total cost to $1,745 in the U.S. For Peloton treadmills, the fee will be $350. The price increase begins January 31st. Are you looking for a new addition to your skincare routine? Well, how about a bologna face mask? Oscar Mayer has launched a limited edition face mask that resembles a slice of the popular lunchtime meat. Luckily, it is not actually made of bologna. Instead, it's made with witch hazel botanicals and other ingredients derived from seaweed. You can get one on Amazon for about $5 while supplies last.
And now, your ABC6 Storm Tracker weather with meteorologist Chelsea Priest.
Get behind that one. It looks a little too weird. We are looking over Block Island right now. The winds are picking up, but overall the ocean itself is still relatively calm compared to what we were looking at the last couple of days. And we're going to continue to see gusty winds as we head through the afternoon today, and that's continuing to pump in some warmer air. We're into the mid-40s right now, but it's also making it feel a bit cooler. I guess at least we have the 40s to deal with and feel like temperatures 10 degrees cooler than that, as opposed to the cold temperatures we had yesterday. Average high is 38 degrees, so we're running 5 to 10 degrees above that outside this afternoon. But again, it's coming with these winds. Winds are sustained out of the southwest, 10 to 25 miles per hour right now, and we have some gusts that are coming in over 30 miles per hour, 33 in the Providence area, 30 in Newport, 35 in Wakefield, 33 in Block Island. There's a wind advisory for Block Island, for the Cape, for the islands, and far eastern Mass for the rest of the afternoon and into the evening hours. Gusts may end up even a little bit higher in those locations. Warm front pushing through today, and that's what's changed the wind direction. It's brought in that warmer air for today, but a much wider view is going to show you that there is a second part of the system. It's not super organized right now, but a cold front is going to come through overnight. And with that cold front, we have snow that'll be coming in for tomorrow morning. And it looks like it's just behind the front. So the precipitation may start as some rain before we make the transition over to snow, which may create some really slippery conditions. And while it's not a lot of snow, it's poor timing. It's happening during the morning commute tomorrow. So an early heads up that tomorrow morning you're going to want to give yourself some extra time. Futurecast is going to show you what we're talking about. Clear conditions for part of the afternoon and into the evening. You'll see some sunshine breaking through, but then clouds increase. Now this is about 5 a.m. So if you're getting on the road very early in the morning, precipitation starts to move in. By 8 a.m., widespread snow across the area, and that will continue through about lunchtime before things wind down completely. You may even get some sun later in the day, overnight, and into Friday will be clear. Some ocean-enhanced snow out towards the Cape, but otherwise we'll see mainly sunny conditions on Friday. Now, as I was mentioning, it's not a lot of snow. We're talking about 1, 2, on the high end, 3 inches, and that would mainly be for northwest Rhode Island, a little less out towards the Cape and the islands where it may start as some rain especially. So not a blockbuster event, but enough that things are going to be pretty messy through the morning commute tomorrow. So something to be prepared for, and keep that in mind for tomorrow morning. By the afternoon and evening, we're drying out and clearing out. Mid-40s today. It's a windy day though. Gusts up to about 40 miles per hour at times. Will stay breezy overnight. It's a mostly cloudy night, and by early tomorrow morning, you start to see snow moving into the area. Gusts still around 25 miles per hour. And tomorrow we have that morning snow, afternoon clearing. Temperatures tomorrow in the mid-30s. As we continue to clear out, temperatures continue to drop down into the teens by early Friday morning. Friday looks mainly sunny but really chilly. Temperatures only in the low 20s. There's an offshore storm system on Saturday. Most guidance keeps that pretty far away at this point, but something we'll keep watching. Doreen?
All right, Chelsea, thanks. Coming up next, Garth Brooks is coming to town. We have details on his upcoming tour stops here. And baseball season, can you believe it? It's almost here. We'll take a look at when you can get your hands on tickets to see the Sox. In entertainment news, let's hope the second time's the charm here. Garth Brooks announcing his spring stadium tour will be making a stop at Gillette Stadium. The country superstar hits the Gillette stage Saturday, May 21st for the first time ever. Garth is the top-selling solo artist in U.S. history with 157 million records sold, and he is making his return to the Boston market for the first time in 7 years. You'll remember his October show at Gillette was postponed because of coronavirus. These tickets go on sale next Friday at 10 a.m. And Red Sox tickets will go on sale this Friday. Single game tickets through June 1st go on sale Friday morning at 10 to be exact. Whether those games happen or not is very much in question, however. MLB owners have locked out the players, and there hasn't been much progress in negotiations. Opening day and Patriots Day tickets will be on sale. And the former creative director of Vogue magazine, Andre Leon Talley, has died at age 73. Talley was the first black person to hold his role at Vogue. He also wrote 2 memoirs and was a judge on America's Next Top Model. Well, coming up, another animal honor for the late Betty White, how this little penguin will carry on her name. Plus, Chelsea has another look at your afternoon forecast right after this. Oh, so cute. The Cincinnati Zoo is honoring Betty White by naming a penguin after her Golden Girls character. They say the month-old little blue penguin will have the name Rose. White played that character from 1985 to 1992. The zoo director says the late actress supported the Cincinnati organization, and of course we know, Chelsea, she loved animals. So many people making donations to our own RISPCA in her name this week.
I know. We talked about that yesterday. More than $12,000 to the RISPCA in one day. It was amazing. All in honor of Betty White. So what a legacy. We are looking at warm conditions outside today, but it's windy. Temperatures are into the 40s. Overnight, we do have snow moving in by early tomorrow morning. A messy morning commute tomorrow. It's not a lot of snow, but it's enough that's going to slow you down. Doreen?
Chelsea, thank you. And thank you for joining us for the news at noon. The news continues first at 4. Have a great day, everybody.